Who am I, Rob? Well, I think I finally figured out who I am. It's taken me a few years, but I am Brenda Maynard. I'm an associate professor of business here at the Coleman College of Business. I'm a child of God, and that's, praise the Lord for that. I am a wife. My husband is Daryl Maynard, and he is a local telecommunications company here in Pikeville. We're parents to three lovely, successful children. Ryan, our oldest, lives in Midland, Texas, and he and his wife are both petroleum engineers. Ricky, our middle child, is a graduate here of our College of Nursing. She's a travel nurse and currently lives in Asheville, North Carolina. She's single and I guess living the life. She gets to travel a lot. And our youngest child is Randy, and he has a wife named Morgan. And Randy is a high school math teacher in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, Anderson County High School. And his wife is a nurse at Baptist Health in Lexington. And they have our only grandchild, Theodore, who's right now the newest love of our life. Things I like to do, I like anything outside. I like beach life, I like traveling, kayaking, hiking. I'm probably one of the few women that I know that love to cut grass and do outside work. I have a garden, so anything outside makes me quite happy, and just hanging out with family and friends, and that's basically it.
How many years have you been here at the University of Pikeville?
Well, Rob, it's been a long time. I've been here 42 years. This is my 42nd year, and it's gone really, really fast. That I look back at all the changes I've seen. We've had so many good things, and then we've had some hard times here, and luckily I've survived all of them, and just don't know what else I would have done with my life besides being here at University of Pikeville, which used to be Pikeville College. Just been a very pleasurable, enjoyable career for me, and I'm so blessed that I'm still here and loving my job.
Dream jobs. Obviously, you've been here 42 years, but is there a dream job out there, or are you living it now?
I think I'm living it now. What is a dream job? You have to define what are your priorities. Is money your dream? Is a nice job that you love your dream? What are your passions? I think that this is my dream job. I've had other opportunities along the way with more money, but you know, I know money's not everything. I would think, I'd have to think, do I really want to do that kind of job? And I just could never see me doing anything else than what I'm doing here. I love my colleagues, I love my students. I think being a teacher, a mentor, a mother to our students here, and allowing them to see, hey, I can do this, I can be successful. I think that UPike has allowed me to do my dream job. I believe in education, and just glad that I can still be here and live this dream.
Well, 42 years at a place is almost unheard of now, but I wonder if we dialed back the time as a little girl, those years ago, did you want to be an associate professor of business all those years ago, or as a kid, what did you want to do?
As a kid, I just wanted to survive for a while. I grew up in a holler, and I just wanted to get out of that holler. We had a very rough life. My dad passed away when I was 11. That left my mother to raise 3 kids alone. We lived on a farm, and we were always working. I had a lot of sympathy for my mother because she had to go to work. She worked in a shoe factory, she worked in a sewing factory, she decorated cakes at the local IGA that were always called Southern Living, that pretty. But coming here and being at UPike was never in my wildest imaginations. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was growing up except just get out of the poverty. We were very, very poor. I wanted to get out of the holler. I wanted to do something. I wanted to overcome all of the obstacles that I had to deal with when I was growing up. So I knew I liked being around people. I knew I liked helping people. My father was a teacher. He taught in a one-room schoolhouse. In fact, my first 4 years when I went to school was in a one-room schoolhouse. I know that sounds so old, but it was a fact until they built an elementary school in Floyd County for us, which I started when I was in 5th grade. But didn't really have any clue what I wanted to do except to just get out of the poverty. And I realized in order to do that, I had to have an education. So education was always in my head and always in my dreams.
Now, when it comes to different moments in life, was there anything that happened to spur you on toward this Pikeville College, UPike track?
Well, it's a funny story because really, I'm not supposed to be here. There were 3 of us girls growing up in Floyd County, and we were going to leave Floyd County, and we were never coming back. So we all went to Eastern Kentucky University, and then I graduated with a teaching degree. We stayed down there another year, and I got my master's in teaching business education. And then I was offered a job immediately in Paintsville at Mayo State Vocational School. So I thought, well, this is what I went to school for. I need to take that job. And the girls that I grew up with, no, you can't leave. We made a pact. We can't go back. And I said, well, I'm going to go back for a year or 2, and I'll be back. So they ended up in Lexington, Berea. Both of those had successful careers, and now they're both graduated. Or I'm sorry, not graduated, but they're both retired. They did graduate, by the way. But they're retired, and I'm thinking, why am I still working? All my friends are retired. I'm working because I love it. I love it here. I love working. But anyway, back to the story. So that year I was in Paintsville, one of my colleagues there, his name was Hubert Pack. He said, Brenda, my daughter works at Pikeville College, and there's an opening. Are you interested in that? And I said, well, I'll go anywhere for another year, but I'm going back. I'm going back to Lexington area. So anyway, it was Pam Gillam's dad, and he steered me this way, and I got the job. That was in 1978. And here I am 42 years later, still here. After I got here, I thought, there is no better place to live. There's no better place to raise a family than Pike County, Kentucky. And my husband and I got married, and he grew up in Michigan, and he always had the thought that I will never go back to Pike County to live. And once he got here, after his family moved back, and he started working here, and we both agreed, we don't need to go anywhere else. We feel like this is heaven right here. So that's my story and how I got to University of Pikeville, which at that time was Pikeville College.
I know it's hard to put 42 years of a profession into a sentence, but I'm going to ask you anyways. If you were asked to put your life's call into a sentence, maybe even beyond Pikeville College, how would you do that? What's the sentence?
My life calling is to help people, to be a mentor. I'm a leader. I like to have projects. I consider students my projects. Some of them are bigger projects than others, but just to be here at University of Pikeville and to help these students realize, hey, you might have had a hard life too. You don't have to let that define you. You can be successful. You can go forward. It's up to you to do something with yourself if you want to rise above, if you feel like you need to, So my calling is here, and I'm just happy to be here.
So you have been really influential on campus, in our community. I mean, even today in your office, surrounded by accolades of just appreciation. And so as you've influenced, who have been the people that have most influenced you to know your life's call and how to express that?
Well, of course, I can go back to my mother, because she never gave up. She had a hard life, and she never gave up, and she instilled in us great work ethics. We all worked, we all had our jobs. My grandfather was a teacher, so he instilled the education field. And I do think it's true. You've heard stories like, yeah, they had to go over the mountain barefoot and ride the horses to the schools. Well, I think that a lot of them had to do that. And they had 11 children. Well, 3 passed away young, but my grandfather had 8 children that he taught in his own one-room schoolhouse. And so he always instilled education in me. It was never, if you go to college, you're going to college, pick a college. So I think my mother and him and their good work ethics and their motivation really instilled in me a great desire to succeed. Along the way, I had a high school teacher that taught business classes, Frances Brackett. She said, "You really are good at this. You're very detailed, you're very organized, you need to think about a teaching business career." And so I went to Eastern Kentucky University, and there I did go into business education, and I thought, well, you know, I like my summers. If I'm a teacher, I can have my summers off, and it'll be all great. I can go sit on the beach a lot. Well, I found out, you know, teachers work a lot in the summers too, but I had 2 professors at Eastern, Dr. John Gump, who was just excellent, and another one that was from Betsy Lane, Kentucky, Bert T. Atkins, and they both taught in the business faculty there at Eastern, and they really saw this little girl from Floyd County, and they just pushed me forward, and it was a great experience.
If someone were watching this video today and said, you know, like, you're living my dream, you're living exactly what I want to do with my life, what did you do to put yourself in this position?
I got an education. I got a degree. I got several degrees, and when I got here, I needed more degrees, so I went back and got more education. So I think education it's lifelong learning. One thing I do regret is I don't have my doctorate degree, and I don't, at this time of my life, it really wouldn't be beneficial for me to get it, but I was busy raising 3 kids and hauling them everywhere in the world. They were all involved in various sports, so, and I was busy doing that, and I failed to continue to get my doctorate, which now I wish I did have. But it's okay. I'm thinking, what would I do differently if I had my doctorate? Nothing. Because I enjoy exactly what I'm teaching now. I've got a variety of freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. And those freshmen, I just tell you, they just come in and they'll just tug at your hearts. They're so young, some of them so lost, and some of them so eager. So I'm thinking, if I had my doctorate, I would be teaching in the MBA program and doing more of the upper level, and I don't know if that would be as fulfilling to me as what I'm doing now.
You know, we all have different moments in our life that kind of define courses and directions of our life. Has there been a defining moment for you that has really impacted you in such a way that you know, your life has forever changed?
Well, of course, my father passing away, I think that was my defining moment. I didn't know where I was going or what we were going to do, but we had to buckle down and work hard. So I think, you know, I hate to keep referring back to that, but I know that was a defining moment to me, to be raised poor, and I wanted more than that. Funny story, we had a large family. My grandfather and grandmother lived next door. My uncle and aunt lived next door. they had 5 children. My uncle worked in the coal mines, and they had a miner's card. So their children, when they got sick, they could go to the doctor. And I used to get so jealous of that. I'm thinking, why can't we go to the doctor? I'm sick. But we didn't have that. We didn't have the luxury of all of those miner's cards. And my uncle and that family, of course, deserved that. But I'm thinking, a defining moment, just get out of the holler. And what's so funny now is I own that holler. My brother and I, my family's all passed away. My brother and I own it. And I'm thinking now, hey, that's not such a bad place anymore. But I live in Pike County and I'm happy here too.
Your story really is a story of resiliency and determination and a lot of hard work. And we probably, it would take us quite a while to really think about how many students you've impacted over your journey. And because of that, you've had so many conversations, either in the classroom or one-on-one in the office or maybe even in the halls or during an activity. And you've had plenty of students who come to you and say, I just have no idea what I want to do with my life. So when you have a student like that, what advice do you have for people who just have no idea?
Had one this past week. He's a biology major. He's pretty much overwhelmed. He plays baseball. Great student. I've known his dad. In fact, his dad was a student of mine here. And his dad called me and said, my son needs help. Will you counsel him? And I'd seen him at a football game and we kind of briefly talked, and I said, yeah, tell him to come and see me. So last week he did. And he said, I'm just overwhelmed. I said, what is your major? He said, biology. And he's had like 6 lab classes by now as a sophomore going to be a junior. Well, he's beyond that because I think he had some dual credit classes coming in. I said, well, what are you going to do with that degree? Do you want to go on into med school? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to go ahead and get your PhD in biology? What do you want to do with that? He said, no, I know I don't want to be a doctor. That's just more school. I said, well, you wanted to come and talk to me. I said, your dad and I talked briefly about maybe getting a minor in business. He said, yes, that's what I want to do. So I showed him the options of what we have minor, and I said, any minor classes you take will transfer over into the majors if you want to get a degree in business. But I said, a degree in biology is good. A degree in business is good. I said, any degree is good, so don't undervalue your degrees in anything. But I said, you may change, It's just statistics show that people change careers from 5 to 7 times now in their lives. Not me, but change is good. I said, you need to just take some classes. We have our new Gen Ed program. You can take a variety of classes, see what you like to do. I said, what do you have a passion for? If you like numbers, major in accounting or math. I said, if you like sciences, stick with biology, but you need to decide, what am I going to do with this biology degree? I said, it may be completely nothing that you think when you graduate you'll get a job, and it may not even be related. But that's okay. You have a degree, and you can always fall back on your business degree or your business minor. But I guess my opinion or my advice is, what are you passionate about? Don't always think it's money, because that's what the young man told me. He said, I know if I'm a doctor, I'm going to make a lot of money, but that's not important to me. He likes baseball. I said, maybe you need to be a teacher. Maybe you need to be a baseball coach. Maybe you need to be a sport management major. Maybe you need to go work for the Cincinnati Reds. I said, you just be open-minded. Get a degree, but it shouldn't be a painful degree. It should be a degree that you enjoy. And if you need to switch degrees or majors, that's okay. You can always take an extra year or two. You want to be here and play baseball, and he will continue to do that. But so I gave him the options, and we just talked about his passion, and he said, I'm going to think about what I'm really passionate about. So we'll see how it goes, but I know he will get some kind of degree. And I try to counsel all my students concerning that. What do you love doing? What are you passionate about? Be willing to change. If you're not happy in your degree, change it. You know, come back and get another degree if you need to. So it's a constant thing that I think I do. I get asked a lot by students, what am I going to do with my life?